everyone, this is the Soul Reconstruction Project, and today I have Victoria Pierce here with me. We're going to talk about motherhood, we're going to talk about healing and mental health. She's going to tell us about her background and what she does now, and just about also ending with lifestyle and your body and nutrition in a different way that's more trauma informed. And I'm really excited about that part. So, hi, Victoria.
Hey, thank you for having me, Janelle.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you. I know we just clicked like a long time ago and like finally able to meet up.
I know. Thank you. Thank you.
So please tell us about yourself. What do you do now and
Yes.
all your little background? How what brought you to where you are now?
Okay. So, like Janelle mentioned, my name is Victoria. I am a mom. I'm 33 years old. And I'm a serial entrepreneur. Like, I love all things entrepreneurship. I love helping other people walk into their passions. So, I have been, again, an entrepreneur for 6 years now with my body contouring studio that I'm sitting in right now. And it's been such a huge blessing, but I feel like it was kind of like the gateway to unlock everything else that I'm supposed to do in life. So, I am a life coach as well. I've been doing this for a couple years and I recently just rebranded my business because I have a huge passion with helping others. In addition to that, a little segue is that I do podcasts, which is about women empowerment and just being relatable and letting people know like it's okay. Like when you go through things, it's normal, but there's also a community here that provides a safe space for everybody and just being non-judgmental, making sure that everybody's seen, valued, heard, all the things is extremely important to me and passionate. So that is how me and Janelle crossed paths. And so I'm glad that we did. I'm huge as far as alignment. I feel like God is positioning me in different situations where I can tell my story and be able to help others heal as well. So I'm here for it.
Thank you for that a role of how you got here. So just to wind it back again and talking about like who was I before motherhood? Who were you
Mhm.
before motherhood? And then when did you become a mom?
Yeah, so before motherhood, so he'll be 15 in June, so that's kind of crazy to think about because that was so long ago. Um, but I mean, like I was a daughter, I was a big sister. Um, I feel like I was a nerd, but that's okay because I feel like it got me to where I am today.
Yeah.
But I was really huge into like school. I played volleyball and basketball for over 5 years each and just trying to find my way where I fit in society, because I am mixed, so I do have a little white and I am also black. I feel like growing up in different environments I had to be more so of a chameleon instead of being myself to adapt to who I was around. And I like to think of it when I do reflect back that not that I was fake or phony or anything, but I was just trying to be accepted. So I feel like throughout life, that's something that I struggled with was acceptance, even up until motherhood. So then came along Caleb. So I got pregnant when I was 17. So it was my senior year of high school. So completely not planned and was an obstacle that was self inflicted, as I tell people. But, I feel like it was the biggest blessing of my life because he changed the trajectory and, made me grow up faster, made me have more responsibilities. And, at that point, I was responsible for a child. I was responsible for somebody else, which is crazy to think about. Great support system that helped me because I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. And here we are 15 years later. So I'm here for it. I've survived. And just again, using that testimony to let people know, like, if you do find yourself in situations that you don't plan for, it's okay. Like, you can navigate whatever you want life to be, is what you want it to be. Like, you may need help and stepping stones on the way there, but you can do it. Like, if I can do it, you can do it.
You may need to start over, but
Yeah.
it's possible. You can do it. So you kind of
Yep.
talked about your identity before you had your daughter, no, your son.
Yeah.
And now my next question was, how has becoming a mom changed that identity, changed that chameleon type vibe? Do you feel like you still try to fit in?
No, not at all. And I feel like that was just like a learning experience, and just getting like self-respect for myself. And there's a lot of things that go into that. But no, I am who I am at this point in my life. And either you like it or you don't like, and I'm okay with that. And when you have that clarity and you don't people please and everything that comes along with it, like you get a sense of understanding, a sense of awareness, and a sense of peace, which you cannot put a price on peace at all. Um, like at all, like never. So that if you don't take anything away from my interview today, take that you cannot put a price on peace and that is very important. Um, Yeah, so like now, like again, I'm responsible to keep someone else alive. I'm responsible for his happiness. I'm responsible to make sure like he has better opportunities than I had. And just walking or running so he can walk in life. So making sure everything is kind of in place. So he does get exposed to opportunities and things like that. So,
So if you could name two things about your identity that changed after you became a mother, what would be those two like core things? Like, oh no, I got to stop doing this. This is not
ooh,
who I.
oh my goodness. That's a good question that I did not prepare for. That's a very good question. What are two things that changed the moment I had Caleb? I couldn't be selfish is number one. I could, and again, like I'm coming out of high school. So, all I know is self. I was working and everything like that, but it was just like the next level, like, okay, now I have to put all my eggs into this basket. So becoming very selfless was huge. Um, I was always responsible, so I can't even say that. Being more vocal, because at the end of the day, for your kids, if you don't advocate for them, nobody's going to advocate for them. So that was getting me out of my comfort zone because I was like an introvert. I was kind of to myself. But like if something was wrong at that daycare, like we're getting an email, we're about to have a family meeting. Like, what are we doing here? So just pushing myself out of my comfort zone that way is huge. And even to this day, like he knows I will write an email in a minute. We will be having a meeting immediately before the end of school day, or everybody, the staff is staying after school for us to have this meeting because I do not play about my child, like not at all.
Yeah, I think the answer was great because I think those are two really huge things that happen. Is for one, when you're 17, at least when I'm thinking about when I was 17, I'm about to go off to college and get out of this city, like, and
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden it's like, never mind, like you cannot do that now. You have to take care of this kid, and then also the vocal part. I mean, I just grew
Yeah.
up that mediator that just kind of kept everything inside so everyone else could figure out and help them out. So
Hmm.
when I had my kid and now dealing with post separation abuse and having to fight in court and fight for this and fight for that, like I
Yeah.
had to vocal. It was like, no, I'm not gonna watch my life passing by. I'm not gonna keep crying about this. Like I gotta speak
Yep.
up. Like voice is really important. I think if anything that I talk about all the time is that our voice is important and being
Hmm.
authentic. Once you've even figured that out inside, it's important to do that externally because then everything else will
Yes.
with it.
And
um
absolutely.
so kind of going off of that mental health and that healing part, like, well, how was that
Mhm.
experience for you becoming a mother at 17? Because I still was figuring out my mental health and those years going to college, I was all over the place.
I was all over the place mentally too because it was an adjustment. But again, it was something that I signed up for essentially. So it's like, okay, Victoria, what are we doing? Because like during the time, I had him when I was 17, got my first apartment shortly after I was 18. So in July of 2021, 2011, I'm sorry. And from there, I started school, signed myself up for at a local university out here right away. So I was in school for 4 days a week. I was working like 50 hours a week. Like I was doing a lot. So staying organized was huge, like in that time period. Um, I'm sorry, what was the question? Because I feel like
I
I just went off on a tangent.
no,
Cut
I
this
just said
part right here.
when you became a mom, how was that mental health that part that change
Okay.
for you?
Lord have mercy. Okay, so
But no, you're taking us back. You're taking us back.
because I definitely went through like a time loop as I'm like talking. So
I was
how
thinking
was
about my separation, and that was like me, like working my ass off so I can get this money because he's not helping me financially. He wants me to fail, and it's like it seemed
yep.
like we're in survival mode.
Yep, it's straight survival mode. And it's like in those moments, again, because I don't know, I was never trained on how to be a mom. Like I'm just going. I'm going, I'm going. So I'm not doing self-care. Like I'm not going to get my nails done. I'm just, again, like you said, surviving, working and going to school because I know that's essentially what's going to make it better. Money's going to be better, everything's going to be better. And really, like mentally, I was killing myself, to be completely honest. I was doing none of the things that I do now as a 33-year-old at all. No journaling, no walking, no self-care. Like I was just a straight robot, if you want to be completely honest, and
Yeah,
just doing the things. And I think that's kind of where my functioning depression or my functional depression that I'm self-diagnosed because nobody's told me I had this, but doing my own research, I feel like you just go and you go and you go and you go because that's what you have to do. And that's what we're trained to do, that you lose sight of what you like, what you want to do, lose sight of having girl days, pouring into yourself. Like, those are the things, do the complete opposite of everything that I said that I did having a child in the beginning, because it's detrimental. And then the further you dig yourself in these holes, it takes longer to dig yourself out. And a lot of self-awareness and a lot of sitting with silence and having difficult conversations with yourself that you don't want to have, but it's necessary in order for you to grow.
I think the thing that really shot out at me, we were like, I'm a like I
A robot.
self-diagnosed. There's a lot of
Mhm.
people that self-diagnose, but then there's also a lot of people that don't even want to diagnose it at all because mental health, and I don't want to have to take medicine, or I don't want people to think I'm this and that. But it's like
Mhm.
functional depression is, if you really look it up, it's
It's a
functioning
thing.
in a certain way, doing this, like kind of like I talk about that machine
Mhm.
that you're kind of used to doing because it's what everyone's told you is supposed to work, and then it is
Exactly.
working for me right now, even though I don't feel like it, but it's the money's coming in, it's safe, that
Yep.
kind of thing. And it's, yeah, a lot of people don't even want to express to other people that they're feeling this way, and a lot of people do
No.
have functional depression. A lot of people have depression and they don't even want to talk about it. So
They don't want to face it, because then when you face it, now you got to go back to childhood to really dig back. Like, okay, when did this actually start? What's triggering me? And that's a lot of work, and people don't want to do the work. It's a lot of work. I'm still working, like, and you will always be a work in progress.
yep.
When you're healing, it's forever. It's not, okay, I went to therapy for a couple months and it's over. No, it is every day. You're learning something new about yourself.
That slides into my other question. What does breaking cycles or suffering in
Okay.
silence look like? Like, one of them is going to therapy, and I think a lot of people do need professional
Hmm.
help. If you don't want to call it therapy, you need professional help. Okay,
Yes.
people that have gone to school, studied this kind of work, not your friend who going to the club ignoring the same things you ignoring. They're not going to have the same blueprint for you, like a positive blueprint. They need help too. If y'all talking about anything, it's about how you don't need
Exactly.
to get professional help.
Exactly. And I feel like, so I want to touch on suffering in silence because that's something that I speak about a lot on my podcast, is that so many people do it, and because I feel like it's out of embarrassment, it's out of shame. And I feel like, like I say, like how Instagram, it's like a highlight reel. All you see is the aesthetically pleasing things. But is that realistic? No. Like, everybody goes through highs and lows, obstacles. There's no way around it. But when we constantly are being fed, like, okay, this is what life looks like. It's the vacations, it's the photo shoots. It makes things not obtainable. So it's like it makes people scared to speak up. Like, sometimes people need to file bankruptcy. Sometimes people need to get divorced. Sometimes people need to do different things. And people are scared to speak out because they don't want to be shunned or they don't want to be looked at crazy. Meanwhile, the people that are doing it aren't speaking about it. So you never know who's like going through something. It could be your neighbor going through something detrimental. You wouldn't know because they're not saying it. So now, because you're experiencing something that's like it, and you don't want to say it, now you feel like you're all alone.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to like break. And that's what one thing I love about TikTok. If y'all not on TikTok, get on TikTok, because it makes things feel normal. And because it's such a wide range, somebody in China could be going through the same thing you're going through. You know what I'm saying? As being a mom, just having an issue with a teenager. But sometimes when we get in our head, sometimes we think that we're all alone and that we have nobody else to reach out to. So we're suffering alone, essentially.
Yeah, I'm thinking about when I was suffering in silence, and just kind
Mhm,
of the end all that kind of made me, I felt lonely, but in that time,
mhm,
God did something where it was like, you're not going to be lonely anymore. You got to tell everybody this. You have to tell people, and now people need to help you. Like, this is what you need to receive. And
mhm.
that will happen. It will be things like getting a divorce, a fight, ending something, like anything like that, to just
Yes.
kind of the lightning strike. It feels like lightning striking on like a tree. This is what I envision.
Yep.
It's that's meant to happen, because it's really, it maybe removes something that's not meant to be there. Like, now you have the strength to do what you need to do. Now you've got a path. This can go
Yep.
now. What it feels like. So
Exactly.
Can you talk about self-sabotaging? What does that look like sometimes? Maybe you can think about when you were 17 or in your 20s and stuff. Well, what does self-sabotage look like? And how do we not notice it in our like everyday life sometimes in small moments?
Let me tell you. Okay, so I was a chronic self-sabotager.
Oh, hey.
So that's exactly what I know. I know exactly where this conversation is about to go. Because this is something I talk about as well. So when y'all start to heal and you like revisit a lot of things, you recognize things, and it's our responsibility to make sure that other people don't go through this or they see the signs. So with me, like my self-sabotage was of my success, which may sound crazy, but it was fear of success. So when I would like start to get really successful in businesses, checks are coming in, and I'm specifically talking about my network marketing business that I'm a part of. Checks will be coming in. I'm growing, like I'm getting more knowledge. I'm building a team. And it's like, okay, the more that you grow in the business, the more responsibilities you have. So then it's like, okay, now you're doing training courses, now you're doing speaking things. And I'm just like, what is this? Like, I don't want to do all this. So I would purposely, and I've done it several times, or I used to, I would stop my success. I would stop growing on purpose because I was scared of what was on the other side of that door. Do not do that. Like, don't do it. When you get that momentum for your business or your passion, whatever it is, ride it out. Even if you're scared, you're never going to 100% know everything in order for you to feel like you have that green light to move forward. You have to, what I've learned is that you have to fail your way forward, and that's okay. No billionaire, no millionaire has been successful without failure. And that's just what it is. Despite whatever Instagram or highlight reels may tell you, like this is glamorous. No, there's nights that as an entrepreneur, we cry ourselves to sleep. There's moments that we feel like giving up. It's not all peaches and rainbows. Like I promise you. So when you self-sabotage, like you, again, like if it's on the other side of fear, or if you're self-sabotaging because of your success, the little signs that you may get is that, okay, again, momentum is building, you're getting a lot of great results, and then you start to get really anxious. You start to put yourself like in a box. You stop your personal development because when you're on that type of role, you're pouring into yourself.
Yeah.
When all those things stop, and then that negative self-talk, that gets to going, and it gets to going bad. Like, why would you even think that you're qualified to do this? Who's going to buy from you? Who's going to want you to lead them on a team? You don't even know what you're doing. And again, like everything I've done has been at such a young age that's another thing. Like, okay, what is this young person going to tell me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm older than them,
That's a problem in the workplace.
it really is. It really is. And so that's something else, like that's another mold that I try breaking. But yeah, those are the main things that you'll notice along the way.
So what changed when you started noticing those things and then applying it? Like, did the anxiousness go away? Did the fear go away? Or did you use it?
So it didn't go away, but I used it as my fuel. Because even like to this day, like I get scared. Like I'm an introvert, or at least I was an introvert. I couldn't even say like I didn't even want to say my name on a Zoom call. Like I didn't want to say anything. Just get me off the screen. Yeah, just get me off the screen. Like being in the forefront has never been like what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to see other people shine. So I would help. I would do whatever I could to make sure other people were successful. And so I'm like, okay, this has to stop. So the last time I did this big self-sabotage was like a couple years ago. And when you get closer to God, he's going to guide you. And if you're breathing, if you're watching this video, that means he has not failed you yet. Seriously. So he will not fail you in the future. So really leaning on that and just listening to him. And he's been giving me messages like, all right, Victoria, like, are you going to listen today? Like, are you going to listen? And we know we can be hard-headed. And so finally something clicked, and it's like, all right, God, like at the end of the day, like you're what I got, you're going to guide me. You haven't failed me yet. You got me here. We done been through some stuff. Like you've been rocking next to me, and we've been pushing forward, and you got me. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you just have to release that fear and just lean into what you believe in and push forward, and use the people, like use your support system. That's why they're there, if they make you feel safe. Because sometimes people's support system doesn't make them feel safe. So
Yeah.
we're going for safe people only. that and pouring into yourself with personal development, because you never want to be the smartest person in the room. You always want to be able to learn and grow from whatever someone else has to offer, whether that's reading, whether that's listening to podcasts,
Mhm.
um, different things like that. But that the Bible is key. And not to say that I can't quote a million scriptures. Like, I'm not that into it, but I do know one thing for certain, is that God, when He's in the picture and He's the foundation, everything else is clear. Like, it's like He clears a path. So just walking in your purpose, finding your purpose, and like pushing through. And when you use your pain, like, you have to be able to help other people be successful, or have to be able to help other people navigate a situation that you went through that you didn't think you were going to come out of, because that can be the key to them coming out of that situation or avoiding it altogether.
Yeah, I think the keywords are like belief and hope, and like
Mhm.
having true belief, not just, going to church and doing the songs and stuff, like actually
Yep.
inside having
You
that
got to
belief
feel
in
it.
something, if you don't want to call them God, like in something that is
Mhm.
more than you, way more
Yep.
than you. Okay, so what would you say to a mom who feels like they don't have that safe space to talk to? And like in my stage, in certain stages when I did have my rebirth, reconstruction, I was alone and I didn't have many people. So what would you say to a mom who feels like they don't really have that safe space with anyone or even with them themselves?
So, first and foremost, God, because even in the night when no one else is around, He will always be there to listen. So, pray, pray, pray. Number two, me. Me and Janelle, please reach out to us. We
Yeah.
are here. We've been through it. Like, you can have my contact information, because the last thing I want you to do is feel like you're alone. Like, as a mom, it's hard. As a woman, it's hard enough as it is. But then you add a mom of one child, that's harder. But then we have multiple, like, okay, sis, please reach out, because, like, we're here. Because a lot of people, and what I'm finding out with doing these podcasts and meeting a lot of people, is they don't have family, or they don't have people they can rely on,
Yeah.
which is scary, because I come from such a family of love, and like, I'm here, call me. So if I have to be that safe space, you know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem doing that, because at the end of the day, we need each other. And when we come together, we're better. So that's what I got. God and me and Janelle.
That leads us into like what you do now and how you coach and
Mhm.
what you do in your business. So like body sculpting, what is body sculpting? How do you help your clients rebuild kind of that confidence in their body and themselves?
Yes. So I love what I do. So I've been a body contourist for, it'll be 6 years now on the 25th of April, which is crazy to think about. Yes. And so it's been a lot of growth, a lot of clients coming through these doors. So we opened our business during COVID, which was crazy. So, I mean, like, the world shut down, and we were able to still take clients and be compliant and everything. It just had to be at a slower pace.
Mhm.
And during COVID, everybody's at home, restricted, eating food, gaining weight, a lot of different things. So we would have stories of women who would come in and say, like, they didn't even feel comfortable going to the grocery store because they didn't look like how they looked, or their husband would say how they were getting fat and unattractive and different things like that. People were really going through it. And so to see it on this side, where again, we create like a non judgmental space. It's peaceful. Whatever you want your experience to be, it'll be. If you want to go to sleep because you need to take a nap away from the kids, go to sleep. If you need to work from home and bring your laptop, bring the laptop and you can work while I work on your stomach. If you want it to be just a chatting session, just getting advice, we're here for that too. So through the process, you build these relationships and you hear these stories, and it's heartbreaking, because it's like, you're beautiful. Like, women are beautiful. We are phenomenal creatures, especially moms who, we give birth, like, we give life. So when you see someone come in here and just have that low self-esteem and low confidence, it's heartbreaking. But seeing that transformation throughout the sessions of them losing weight, they're losing weight, losing inches, whatever it is they came in here for, and feeling like a brand new person when they leave, and just being a part of that journey, like, it's beautiful. And for me, like, even then, like, I knew my purpose was bigger than myself. I didn't know it as much as I know now, but just being able to help someone feel good in their skin again was just, it's a great feeling. And it's still great to this day, 6 days later. Like, I love it.
I feel that same way about teaching. I didn't
Hmm.
expect to get into teaching and be an educator, but I do feel like it was something I was meant to do, and kind of it was the
Yeah.
smaller picture of the bigger picture that I'm doing
Yes.
now. So, what are some lifestyle habits, nutritional habits, but also lifestyle habits that are detrimental that we don't really notice when we're living in survival mode?
Yes. So water intake is huge. A lot of people don't like water. You'll be surprised, or they feel like they're eating, see, or they feel like they're eating ice chips is water intake. Some people feel like when they drink coffee because it's has a water. Yes, you'll have people who think they
Huh?
think that's water. Yes, because it's has a water base. I'm like, no, y'all, like
Water based.
water. Water is key. Like we have to drink water. And when we drink water, like it takes care of our insides. And whatever's reflected on our insides is shown like on our skin, on our how our energy, little things like that. So water intake is key. And also just having like a balanced, healthy diet. Do what you can, but if you can cut out like the fried foods, the porks, different things like that, do that. And before I go even further, so at the beginning of the year, I did a Daniel fast, which basically you eat what Daniel was eating in the Bible back in the day. So there was no air fryer, like there was no like stove. You know what I'm saying? So you had to make do. So like the fruits, the veggies, those things are like what really gives us nutrients. And cutting out everything except like the basics during that fast was more eye opening than anything because a lot of we rely on food and I don't think we really realize it because I didn't that I eat just to eat, but I'm not really hungry. And so when you take it away and you do these different fasts, it's like, okay, I can survive off water or tea or whatever and some grapes. So just really being mindful of overeating, especially when you're not hungry. Exercise is key. Even if you're just walking 30 minutes a day, you're getting your body like moving and flowing, and that's going to help you not have that arthritis in your legs, not have pain in your legs from just constantly sitting. And then again, your blood flow isn't moving. So just walk. Like the weather's getting nice finally. So
Wow.
go outside. Right. Knock on wood. So go outside for 30 minutes and then like get that fresh air, get that vitamin D, get the oxygen, the fresh oxygen coming from the trees, like all that stuff plays a role and it
Open a
makes you feel
window.
lighter. Right. It makes you feel lighter. So that's all huge. And mental health has a huge role in your physical. So make sure you got to take care up here. So positive self-talk, journaling is huge. Again, reading your Bible is always like the foundation, but just like being at peace and sitting with your thoughts, as scary as that may sound, you got to listen to yourself and listen to your body because your body will tell you also before your mind tells you when something's wrong. So pay attention to those signs.
I kind of like that you said that because I'm kind of thinking of my next question, which is like, how do survival habits or just experiences from, other
Mhm.
people in lives that hold you back from kind of staying in this consistency? So what are some tools that you would give someone, like for myself, even recently, the month of April, I was super excited to start doing like a lot of stuff with my
Mhm.
business, and then a whole other thing with court and my ex just took a hold and I had to put my focus there, and it was
Mhm.
hard to even get back into journaling and all the stuff I'm telling people to do, yoga, and start
Yeah.
dancing, and like because I'm doing all this work that's taxing even emotionally. Like I don't want to
Mhm.
do this. Like I want to do something that's fun, that's for my future, me and my daughter's future. So a lot of
Mhm.
this stuff happens even. I mean, we were just talking about this, people losing their jobs left and right. That is a huge
Mhm.
foundational breakage. And I'm supporting one child. I'm not like a man or a woman of a household with a bunch of kids. Like people are losing their jobs left and right. So what advice
Right.
would you give to get back on that like saddle kind of feeling?
So I would start with, again, self talk. Like you got to pour into yourself positively. If you have someone that you can reach out to as like a support system who can give you that, whether it's just sending you Instagram positive things,
Hmm.
it's something. One favorite pastor that I listen to is Sarah Jakes Roberts. So TD Jakes' daughter out of Dallas. Her messages, I feel like they be coming right to me. Like she be speaking directly to me and she'll break everything down. So either getting into like a church, even if it's not a local church, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't even have a church locally that I would want to go to, but there are some extensions that I listen to. And then just remember why you started whatever you started.
Yep.
That your why should make you cry and your why should be the reason that you always go back. You have to find your purpose, and whatever it is that you do is key. Because like I've been telling people, when you realize your purpose is bigger than yourself and you're here for other reasons, it, you have to show up. Like
Yep.
there it is, it's no choice. So what I've been telling my friends is that when God gives you a message to say, it's for you to say it in that time, because if you don't say it in that time, you don't know who was waiting for that message, who may give up on life. They may give up on their dream. They may lose hope because you're being selfish in that moment where you're like, well, I don't want to do it today. But now you're affecting somebody else's livelihood. And so when you have that mindset, and it's worked with me because I've been put in situations where I didn't want to show up, but because I did show up, it was an outcome for somebody else.
Yeah.
And even when I'm like scrolling through TikTok and it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? You scroll and you're like, I needed to hear that today. Had that person not posted that at that exact moment when they did, you may never have had that message, that little ounce of hope, encouragement. Like time is like of the essence. And when it's put on our heart to act, we have to act. Like it is, even when we don't want to. I did a podcast about showing up when you don't want to, because there's times I want to lay in the bed, I don't want to move. Like Cardi B just did a video, surprisingly, talking about like when there's times that she just doesn't even want to take a shower, she just wants to lay down. And as a human, like sometimes we're burnt out and we're tired, so it happens. But when you understand, and she made the video from her bed, so she still gave the message, you know what I'm saying? Even though she may not have wanted to. And it resonated with me, and the 47,000 people that liked it, it resonated with them too. And maybe that's something they needed to hear. And then when you hear from somebody who is successful as Cardi B or successful as Michelle Obama, you know that it's real. Like it happens no matter, you can be a billionaire, you're still not going to want to get up some days out the week, out the month, like, and it's normal. So again, church service or lean into your Bible, Instagram, if you got to scroll and come across some motivational posts, TikTok, if you need somebody, one of them guys screaming at you, talking about this is what you need to do today, whatever it takes. And just realize that your purpose is bigger than yourself. That's going to be key. When you realize that, it's game changing, because you have to show up.
Yeah. I think the main thing you just said right now is that when I had my daughter, that was that little glimpse of this is bigger than even being a teacher. This is bigger than inside these walls with these 10-year-olds that I loved them to death, but this is bigger than this.
And as a teacher, it's key. There's teachers that I remember, there's high school teachers I talk to this day who spoke life into me that made a difference. You'll see it like on TikTok and Instagram. Teachers be showing up to these NBA player games because they gave them hope. They made them feel like they were seen, they were heard, they had value. You know what I'm saying? Like your role as a teacher is extremely important, because you can make or break a kid. I've had teachers say, well, I wasn't going to be anything. Yeah. I've had teachers say that I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. Your role,
I just watched the Abbott Elementary episode, the last one, and one of her kids back. She's a math teacher, and the kid came back teaching. I guess he was a big shot. He's coming to talk to the kids. Turns out he needs her to write a letter because he's going to prison, and because he had done some behind the stuff trying to get people. And he was like, "Yeah, I remember you used to say this and this." And at first, she was all happy, like, "Oh my God, something I said, I changed the kid." And then when he started kind of not twisting it, but it became kind of, the stuff she said was kind of negative. She's like, well, I didn't mean it like that. But he's like, but like.
See, but that has followed him throughout his entire life. Like it's something that
You're
simple.
A role model. Moms are role models, educators, parents, like so many people are role models and don't even feel like a role model themselves.
Yes.
You have kids that you're on the spotlight.
And they're watching you. They're watching everything you do. My son used to watch everything I do. He may not watch it as much. Now he just listen. He may not watch, but everything that you do. Like I remember, this is a little side story. I think he had to be in like 6th or 7th grade. And you know those little things that you put on the Crocs, those little sticker things?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was buying them off Amazon. So I'm like, Caleb, what are you doing? And so he was bagging them up and taking them to school to sell by themes. And so he got some bags, a marker. He done bagged them up and he was selling them at lunchtime. But because he's seen me be an entrepreneur and doing my stuff, he done picked up on the habit. Like I didn't have a conversation like, Caleb, you want to make some money? He did it on his own because they literally watch everything you do.
Yeah.
Literally.
Look at him. The
I
school
know.
that I don't know if you can do that. I feel like there's some rules at some of the school you can't sell, because I had kids wanting to sell like their own drawn out stickers. And I was like, oh my god, you guys.
Oh,
Then you turn out like, no, they can't. Actually, no, you can't do that. But I didn't say nothing.
go
Like,
ahead.
but I was so proud of them because it was like also a kid that didn't even want to be part of my class at first. Didn't
Yep.
want to be at school. Like those are the kind of kids that I really want to encourage. That by the time you leave here, I want you to know that you are way brighter and way more confident, and you can do anything that you actually want to do. If you don't know what that is, figure it out right now.
Exactly. And see, that was him being an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? So then, like, when he gets in environments where parents or teachers shut that down, then it's like he loses that hope. And that's why we got to go back to like being our inner children and figuring out like what changed in that moment to why we act the way we do now. Like it's mind blowing. Like when you think about it, it's mind blowing.
That's a big thing I talk about too, is that I felt like
Mm-hmm.
most of my life my inner child became dormant, and now I feel like
Yep.
that's there, and it I can see it in my daughter's eyes, that
Mm-hmm.
wonderment, that joy, that Disney like love.
Yes.
It's like different. It's different when you're an adult because we're so like man, like we're
Uh
man from
huh.
the
Boom, boom, boom. Because now
emotionally,
we
we're
got the
all man.
responsibilities.
So it's like when you have a kid, you just have to, you're forced to see things in a different way. You're forced to see it back into that spirit like magical star
Mm-hmm.
like kind of vision.
Well, you're supposed to be forced into it. Not all parents be parenting, but the good ones, we get it. We understand.
That is the goal, to get everyone on that platform
Yeah.
to be like, this is something that I'm lacking in, and my child's gonna not gonna she's gonna suffer because of it if I don't get
Hmm.
this with me.
Yep.
That kind of signals us to our like last question of like
Ooh, okay.
moms surviving and repatterning is a big thing. Reparenting is a big thing for me. So what are things that you do in your everyday life that you are like kind of reparenting with your son, and your son's 15. I'm my daughter's 4. I'm not even on that. I've done high school one time. I'm not even a high school person. Okay. So what is
Stop.
some reparenting that you have to do, even from starting at 17, and you probably were doing things a lot differently when you were
Mhm.
surviving. How are you doing things differently now, and how are you sticking to that?
So with teens nowadays, it's a little different than when I grew up. Or when you grew up, like these teenagers are a little different. And I feel like their mental health is so fragile, way more fragile than ours. I feel like COVID and that isolation has something to do with it. Other than that, I feel like these kids are a different beast. So with Caleb, I have to have open communication. I'm like, even if it's something that you don't want to talk about, even if you feel uncomfortable, please talk to me. Because the last thing I want you to do, like, I know you're going to talk to your friends, but I don't want that to be their experience, which isn't any, be the
Mm-hmm.
main source of, right, be the main source of your knowledge. So we have those difficult conversations. Raising a young Black man, we have to have difficult conversations in general because around police stuff, around racism, like, so we have those conversations early because you just never know nowadays. And I want him to be equipped enough to be able to, if he's in any situation like that, he can handle himself, or he knows that he can call me or his dad. Um, and I think, especially with him growing up, I think it was in him, but he's very opinionated. And I always tell him, like, don't be opinionated with me. Like, you can be opinionated with everybody else, but don't be opinionated with mom. But what I'm happy about and grateful for, he won't just do something just because someone says to do it. He's going to ask why, and I think that's huge, especially nowadays. Like, so many people just like with the COVID vaccine, or people just blindly follow whatever the trend is and don't question it. And that's the problem in society. So to know that he's like, if he's uncomfortable about something, because he had an incident at school that was a racism incident against a teacher, and he spoke up. And not only did he speak up for him, and I say he's my little Malcolm X, he spoke up for the classroom. And so then, I gave him the autonomy to handle it at his age, wherever he saw fit. But I'm like, I'm coming in on the back end and we're going to wrap this up. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up
So
immediately, expeditiously. I want everybody there. I don't care if it's after hours, everyone will be at this meeting. But again, to see him speak up in a moment that it was uncomfortable, where it's, he's the one or two Black people out of the entire class of 30. and a teacher is saying racist things and things of that nature, for him to speak up had to be uncomfortable, but he did it. And he did it not only for him, but for his other students. And it was a proud mom moment because back then, if it was me, I probably wouldn't have said anything. I would have been uncomfortable and just not said anything because I didn't want to shake the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Little Malcolm X over there said, I'm speaking regardless if you like it or not. And so just being able to see like the opposite of what I did, so it made me feel like, okay, I'm doing something right. So communication, I think, is huge because even with me growing up, a child should be seen and not heard. So there isn't that many opinions that you can give. So, giving him that opportunity to speak and feel like a human. Because I was actually talking to a therapist on my podcast about it yesterday, how we take that away. Like as kids, we take away healthy boundaries because we say, you're coming here regardless if you like it or not. Instead of investigating, like, well, actually, why don't you want to go? Like, what's going on? So then she was saying, like, from a young age, we learn not to have boundaries, and that trickles over into our adult life. And now we're people pleasing all the time. We're constantly enduring stuff that we don't have to. So that's why I said, like, it's so important to go back to the beginning because that's going to change what's going on now. And then again, we have to look at how we were raised, what we didn't like, and don't repeat those same cycles if it wasn't detrimental when we raise these kids, or else those cycles just keep going on. And it's miserable. Like, depending on what the cycle is.
The two things I was thinking about when you were talking was one, like, yes, like we need more kids like that that's going to speak up, but especially because the world is silencing or erasing or calling, we can't
Yep.
look, we can't. So like, yes, we need more kids, but then at the same time, the school systems are not really encouraging of that. Sometimes in a way that's very apparent, and then a way that's not apparent, but we're not really fostering that in them anymore. And then on the other note, you were saying like communication is really important. That's almost the hardest thing for people now. They can't even communicate with their spouse. They're trying to communicate with this kid that is 20, 30, 40 years older, like younger than them. And
Yep.
that's a problem. So that's why I like to do in the work that the resources I'm trying to put out is like helping people communicate with their kids on a different level, even something as simple as a book. You guys can have a conversation about something that makes them feel safer in a different way, that makes them feel like, oh, I guess I could talk to my mom about this subject because
Yep.
like I feel comfortable. Like there's that very much like also, like you said, you are seen, but you're not heard. Don't be opinionated with me. Don't, and that gets taken the wrong way. Like, okay, in this instance, this is what I mean. But if you
Yeah.
talk about this, then, but no one really has that conversation of these blurred lines. It's just like, no, shut up, listen to me,
Right.
follow my
I
rules,
don't,
like, and
I don't want to
a
hear
lot
it.
of all in between. But like a lot of kids, ultimately, they don't feel like they can really talk about anything.
And you know what? And that may be the reason why everybody wants to be like, well, I want to be grown. I want to be grown instead of being a kid because you want to be grown so you have a voice. But if you have the voice before you get to that grown age, maybe you wouldn't rush. Okay. That was
That's why you're gonna help me with
good.
my resources. We gotta
Look,
keep
clock,
talking.
clock. That was good. Maybe that's why we rush to be grown because it's like, well, at least when we grow, we can do what we want. We can have a
It
voice.
is about having a voice. It is about being seen.
Wow.
Even if
Girl,
you
I need
evolve,
to write that down.
it's not even like accepted to evolve and change. No, I don't
I'm
agree with
writing that
you. I'm not
down.
even trying to argue about it. I just don't agree with that, like, the whole platform you've given me to my whole, childhood. It's that
Yep.
kind of like, yeah, I can't wait to leave this town so I can be who I am.
Yeah. And so you rush past like the years of being a kid because you're trying to get to
The
something that
learning,
you,
the
girl, I
the
just wrote that
growing.
down because that was good. That was good. That just came off the dome. That was good. I'm sorry, I'm
Okay.
showing my age.
No.
No.
Oh, Victoria, this has been great. I can't wait to be on your podcast, and I can't wait for our
Yes.
episodes to talk about just all the things because we've gotten
Yeah.
a lot of subjects. But I just want people to be able to find you. I want you to tell us where they can find you.
Yes. So if you're interested in the body sculpting services, our website is Double Take Body Studio, all spelled correctly.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Double Take Body Studio. Same with Facebook. My personal page on Facebook, Victoria Pierce. Instagram is queenv_1021. And then that has like all the pages linked together for my life coaching business, for the double take for the body studio, for my book club. I have a book club too. I have so many things. My ebooks on there. And then my business number, if you guys want to reach out, is 219-212-0244. Or you can reach me at theempoweredera@gmail.com.
Yes, I wanted you to also say that your podcast is called The Empowered Era, and where can we listen to that?
Yes. So the podcast is called The Empowered Era. So you can find that on wherever you can find podcasts. So Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And then the one where I interview like different women, like I was interviewing Miss Janelle. We have ours coming up. You can find that on YouTube. And so that's The Empowered Era as well. So I'll drop all that information below.
I didn't know iHeartRadio had podcasts. I'll check that out.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks for
You're
listening.
welcome.
Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.
Bye, guys.